Hello, just checking some stuff here. Okay, hello. How's everybody today? You guys doing okay? Hi, Eva. Krissa. My goodness, Chris, I haven't seen you in forever. Nice to have you here. Nice to have everybody. You guys are rock stars. I just decided to do this. So I was just looking at my monitor. Anyway, I'm glad you're here. Hey, Mary. Wanda, it's your first time while I'm live? Great. It is a surprise. It's a total surprise, and I just decided to just do it because it's pretty outside. It's sunshine. It's pretty. My body's back to health. Oh, good for you, Gail. Gail's uploading her first YouTube video. Good for you. So welcome, everybody. So I don't have anything that's particularly grandly important to tell you, but hey, that didn't stop me before. It is gorgeous out. It is gorgeous out, isn't it, Mary? I know you're in the Midwest too, and it is amazing here today. Absolutely amazing. I mean, you could like go outside without a coat on today. That's like some miracle here. Hey, Linda McAllister. Okay, so I'm just having a little tea. And I'm going to show you a couple of things, and then we'll do a little bit of something. I don't know how long I'll stay on, but hey, well, for a little bit. Okay, I'm trying to get myself sorted out. Hey, Lori, nice to see you too. So anyway, okay, so I get wound up watching the chat and then I forget what I'm doing. So anyway, as you can tell, I didn't get all dressed up for you today, but then I never do when I stream because I never know how messy it's going to be around here. So those of you that have been watching me for a long time know how much I love this publication. And those of you in the UK are probably well familiar with it. And I feel like I'm going to sneeze. If I do, I'll try to cut the mic. If I don't, excuse me in advance. Anyway, this is the Breathe magazine. And I just picked this issue up just a couple days ago. And this is one of their special publications, special issue publications. And I just thought I would show it to you. It's all about the mindfulness, trying to get us to slow down. Just slow down. CVS has this now. Oh, that's great. Yeah. So one of the things I love about the publication are the illustrations, the images. I think they're so, to me, they're so inspirational. And with very few lines, the thing that's so inspirational to me is very few lines are required to communicate the message. If you look at how few lines there are in these people and in this person, it's amazing. It's amazing. Hey, Hottie Popo, otherwise known as Susan. Nice to see you. Nice to see all you guys. But not very many lines can send a big message. I'm not sure what this message is. Her hair's on fire, maybe. But anyway, lots of really good articles, lots of really good imagery. These are on the back. These are some of the images from the magazine that they, shrink down. And I almost always copy these to use in my own personal writing journal, which I love doing. And so as long as you're not selling them, you're not doing anything with it, it's only to enhance your own journal. I see no problem with that. But that is my opinion. And then, you have the inspiration from the imagery on the front. So anyway, I just really enjoy this magazine. So I thought I would show it to you. And what I'm going to do today is kind of along the same line. So anyway, all of us need to just slow down and start breathing. I'm telling you, we didn't used to need that reminder or direction from anybody, but we seem to need it now. So I'm just saying, it's a good thing to do. Slow down, breathe, pay attention to where you are, what you're doing. Anyway, I also got in the mail this week, or maybe was it this week or last week? One of my members at How to Get Creative, Ruth Edwards, and she sometimes is here in the chat, sent this to me. And I just wanted to show it to you, because if you've been hanging around with me for a while, you know how much I really enjoy the image of butterflies. And I think I have every butterfly thing known to mankind, and then somebody comes up with something I don't have. And I did not have this one. You can see the embossing folder, and there's 2 different butterflies, and I haven't even opened it yet. Let's see if I can get it open, huh? She said she found this at Tuesday morning, which I had not even gone into Tuesday morning in forever, so I don't know whether the one closest to me has this or not. Anyway, I haven't used it yet, but I have the Bigs die. I have the Thinlet dies. I have the Movers and Shapers butterfly dies. Am I butterfly obsessed? I guess so. But anyway, there is, you can see the butterfly. There's 2 of them. And because these are the Bigs dies, they will go through heavy stuff like denim and leather and felt and all that kind of stuff. It is great, isn't it? And then you can emboss, paper, cardstock, whatever. And fabric will emboss too. The embossing doesn't tend to stay, I find, when I use it with fabric, but you can emboss and then pick up some of the texture with paint or ink or something, and then when the embossing goes away, you still have the imagery because you captured it by putting ink or paint or something across it. Oh, you have one on your wrist? Oh, Kathy, that's cool. I'm too big a chicken to do that. Too big a chicken. Yeah. And this is the other thing that Ruth sent me. And you got any of you that have been hanging around me for any length of time will know why she thought of me when she saw this. She ordered them from Amazon. Look. Look at these. Are these not the cutest things ever? I mean, ever. And there's a reason that she sent those to me. I'll see if I can find my, sorry about the noise. Here. I got these years ago. You can see what I paid for them, $1.43. They were only $3.99 to start with. I know, aren't they just great? They're just too cool. But my obsession with hands, I've been obsessed with hands for a long time. Hands and butterflies and a few other things. But I've been obsessed. I got these before I was ever doing anything that was mixed media type of stuff. I got these. I can't find them any place anymore. I tried. I've looked all over. Cannot find them anywhere. But they're all different sizes. And I bought these, and I also bought some leaves. There's just masks. Some, like tree leaves, like oak leaves and stuff like that. I think they were all oak leaves. And I bought those because the price was so good. It was before I was doing anything with mixed media stuff. And then I started doing jelly plate printing and stuff like that. Well, these are wonderful. Wonderful for that. So if you ever find these, I highly recommend them because they're really good. Anyway, these little cutters, I do think they are for clay. But I could see I could see cutting dog bones out of that. Don't you think that would be funny? Because I have dog bone cutters too in various sizes, but I just think these would be really fun. They might even stamp, you know, like you can stamp with the circle, like the inside of a roll of Scotch tape or something like that. You can put it in paint and stamp with it. You might be able to do it with that too, but anyway. Yeah. Yeah, you can make the... Hey, Dawn. Good to see you. Yeah, you certainly could trace around them and make masks out of them, but I already have them, so I don't need to do that, you know? I was looking for them for everybody else and couldn't find them anywhere. So, anyway. Anyhoot. Okay, so what are we going to do? I haven't done a mandala for a while, and I thought, you know, maybe I'll just mess around with that for a little bit. So I did. I started one. I'm just trying to get the paper to relax a little bit. Breathe, paper, breathe. Yes. Okay. Here we go. So what I did, no, I'm just now starting, Dawn. I'm just now starting. You are perfectly on time. So what I did is I had some watercolor paper that is 11 inches by 15 inches. It's stuff from Michaels. It's a pad of watercolor paper from Michaels, which I really like. I really like their watercolor paper, but I'm not a watercolor aficionado. So, to make the mask, trace around your own hand. Oh, yes, Kathy, perfectly, yes, perfect. She's making the point to make your own mask, just trace around your own hand on acetate. Yes, that's a very good idea. Very good idea. So anyway, I took the watercolor paper it was from Michaels, so it was an inexpensive pad of paper. It was 11 by 15. I cut a square out of it. So this is, and it's not exactly 11 inches. It's more like 10 7/8. So I cut a square out, and then I marked some guidelines, which you can probably see. They're very faint because they're marked in pencil. And I marked some guidelines on here so I knew where the center was and all of that. And then I went through the designs from the ebooks. This happened to be the Mandala Melange. And we have, version 2.0 has more designs than the original book has. Anyway, I went through it to see which one I wanted to use. I decided to pick this one to use, which is the large open petal mandala. I took a piece of tracing paper and I plopped it right down on top of that. And I traced the circles. I traced them. I didn't even use a compass. And I traced a quarter of the petals. Okay, so you can see I traced that many petals, and that's it. That's right. You got to tell the paper to breathe sometimes and relax itself. Hey, Jan. It's so nice to have you guys here today. Thank you for popping in with me. So that's all I traced out of there because I wanted to put it on the watercolor paper, and so that's what I did. I lined it up on my watercolor paper. I centered it because I marked the center, so I centered it on the watercolor paper, which was plain, by the way. There was no color on it. And then I used a piece of graphite paper, which is this. It's graphite paper. And I taped it down. That's why the tape is there. I taped it down and I traced that amount. And then I untaped it and I rotated it and I traced the rest of the petals and I rotated it, traced it and traced it until that's how I got the design on there. That's the cheap way, the fastest way to not have to draw everything. You know, I didn't have to draw every part of this thing. I just drew the parts I wanted. I know, Jan. It must be a miracle. Hi, Janet. It must be a miracle. So that's how I got the design on there. I used graphite paper, tracing paper, and one of my designs. So if you have mandala melange, you too can use this, can do this mandala. Okay. Then after that, I took my compass. So this is an inexpensive quick bow 6.5-inch compass with extension bar. Well, hi from Denmark. I'm not sure how to say your name, but welcome. I'm glad you're joining us. Hey, Aunt Beck. And anybody that I didn't say hello to, thank you for joining. And welcome to my channel. I'm Barb Owen, in case you guys don't know who I am. I forgot to do my little speech. It is Friday after all. So welcome to Drama Free Friday. Where we let the drama stay outside of the studio and outside of the chat, and we just hang out and play. Okay? All right. So anyway, I used this compass. I put the point in the center where I've marked it, and I added a couple of extra rings around it that you can see out here, I think, with pencil. It's just very light. I do that on purpose. I do it very, very lightly on purpose, because I don't know if I'm going to use that or try to get rid of it. I probably will have to use it. Hi, Joy. I probably will have to use those rings, because once you cover them up with something like the spray, they're probably there for good. Anyway, then what did I do? I decided I wanted color on this piece of paper. And so I took it outside, and I used some of these, which in these bottles are diluted versions of this. If you don't have these, I highly recommend them to use in mixed media work. You can use them on fabric or on paper. They're put out by the company SEI, and they're called tumble dyes. Now, you may have something, if you're not in the United States, you may have something that is very comparable. Yes, I can talk any moment. Barb Ross. Yeah, Chrissa, you and Ruth. Ruth's always telling me that. So what I did is I take these are permanent when dry. That's why I like them on both fabric and paper. And I put some in here and then fill it up with distilled water. Or if I don't have distilled water handy, I'll use tap water. Yeah, it's much better to use distilled water, because then you don't grow anything in your stuff. No, we are very far away from the flooding, but thank you for your concern. Thank you for that. There are certainly lots of people who are affected by the flooding, but we don't happen to be in close to that area. So, exactly, they are good. Mandalas are good for giving you peace of mind. Okay, and let's just talk about the word. Mandala, okay? Because I got in trouble a few weeks ago. Somebody was very upset with my pronunciation. Or maybe she wasn't. I don't know. I don't know if it was he or she. Don't remember. Anyway, someone was upset with my pronunciation, because I pronounce it the word mandala, okay? There are people who pronounce it mandala and are insistent that that's the way it's pronounced. That's fine. I don't care. It's fine with me. There are people that actually I have been told by somebody from, in the Asian country, I don't remember which one, where mandalas are used and produced a lot and very much a part of their culture currently. And they insist that it's pronounced mandala. Okay, so I think the answer to that question is you pronounce it any way you want. So I pronounce it mandala because it's easy. It's easy for me to say it. So that's why I say it the way I say it. Hey, Jamie. So that's why I call it that, because it's just simply easy for me to say. All right, so here is the mandala, and I've explained to you how I got there. And if you came in after I went into that explanation, You can go backwards in real time, whether you're on your phone, your tablet, I don't know if you can do it on the television, but you can do it on your computer, phone, tablet. You can scroll back and you can catch up even in real time. So anyway, that's what I did after I sprayed 3 colors. There's mustard and blueberry and magenta are the colors I sprayed on here. All of those were diluted. Then I sprayed it. It sat for a little bit, and I thought, well, it's not moving. Nothing's blending. It was just too spotty. So I sprayed it with water and got it really wet. And then I let it sit for a few more minutes. And then I took a roll of paper towels and rolled it across the surface. And then I dried it. And that was that. So that's how I got to where I am. Okay? Any questions? Put them in caps, and I'll try to catch them. I'll try to catch and answer your questions if you have anything you want to know. All right, so here's what I'm going to play with. Whoops, sorry. Threw the cards at you. I'm going to play with these Mandala Madness cards. These are my cards that I designed along with my technical department, who is my son. You like the colors? I do too. I love the colors. It's just primary colors. It's basically yellow, turquoise, and magenta. So it's basically just the primary colors. So anyway, what we're going to use are the cards. These are my inspiration cards, Mandala Madness inspiration cards. There are 48 cards in the deck, and I thought we would just play with them. I have no idea how this is going to go because this is totally off the cuff. I just decided to do it this afternoon. So, will the dye dissolve with alcohol instead of water? Wanda, I'm not really sure what you're asking. Dissolve? I'm not sure what you mean by dissolve. This dries permanent. Diluted with water, it dries permanent on paper. So I don't know what you mean by dissolve. Hi, Jillian. Hi, Creative Wings. I forgot your name again. Hi, Marion. So there isn't a reason to use alcohol with these because they dry permanently. So I'm not really sure what you mean by dissolve. Okay, so there are 48 cards, and each one has a different mandala on it that I've drawn. Alcohol ink. Do-it-yourself alcohol ink. I don't know because I've never done that. I don't have an answer for that. Yeah. Sorry, I don't have the answer for that. So each one is a different mandala that I drew at some point in time, or in this case, this is done with fabric. And each one has a different word. There's 48 cards. Each one has a different word and also a different quote on the back. And then there's an instruction that kind of, if you get stuck doing things, it helps you get out of being stuck. Okay, so I thought we're just going to mix them up. This is my personal deck that I carry with me in my writing bag because I go and write every morning, usually mornings. And so I pull a card every day and I use that as my source of inspiration for that writing session. Okay? So let's just pull one and see what it says. So this is the playful card, and so it says down here, use individual stencil shapes to create a mandala. See how many stencils you can combine. So what we're going to do is I'm going to pull out some stencils. I had some here a minute ago. Let me see. So I don't know if the ones I had laying out here will do anything. Where are the cards available? If you'll look down in the description box below the video, you'll see the link right there. Or you can just go to HowToGetCreative.com and you can click on the gift shop and you can find them right there. Easy peasy. The easiest by far is just to go in the description box below the video. But thank you for asking. That was very sweet of you. Okay, let's do this one. So instead of making the mandala from stencils, that was what the idea here was, to actually create the whole mandala, we're just going to pick some stencils and add some designs around here. Uh-oh. Jamie was all alone in the chat. That's kind of sad. So, oh, and the other thing I did is once I had drawn the mandala on here using the process I explained earlier, then I used a micron. This happens to be the plastic nib micron, which I'm really liking because I don't tend to wear them out like I do with the regular micron pens. So PN stands for plastic nib, and I went over the lines, the pencil lines, not pencil lines, the graphite lines, graphite paper transfer lines that I wanted to emphasize. So that is what we did. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this stencil, since that was the cue from the card, and I'm going to just line this up inside of one of these big petals, and I'm gonna, yeah. Every time I say that, I hear Dee Dee Willingham kidding herself. If you don't know Dee Dee Willingham, she's here on YouTube. Okay, let's make sure that I know which one of these I just started with. That one. Okay. So I'm going to turn this. Nope, that is not the one I started with. Where? Now, look at me getting myself confused. Seriously? How did I do this? That was where I was. That's where I was there. Okay. Too many little dotty things on this. Too many. Got myself confused. That's kind of sad. Okay, so I'm putting these on the petals with pencil, and then we'll go back and emphasize them again with pen here in a minute. Now, would I have thought of doing this on my own? I have to tell you, I would not have. I would not have thought of doing this myself. So I got inspiration from my own cards, and you know, I thought I'd done about everything there was to do to create a mandala. Apparently not. Thanks, Krissa. Apparently I have not done everything, because this is one thing I hadn't thought about doing, was using the stencils in this particular way. Okay, so we have added the start of something there, and let's see if we can find anything else. Let me dig through my stencils for a second here. I have just a couple. Yeah, I had to laugh. The other day, Jamie, APG Jamie, that you'll see in the chat, she was streaming and she says, I'm not going to, something about she wasn't going to show all her stencils or something like that because she didn't want to seem like she was bragging. I'm like, oh girl, we cannot have a contest about who's got the most stencils. We can't get into that now, can we? All right, I'm just looking for a simple shape. That's what I'm digging for here. Just looking for a simple shape. Something that'll be easy to trace around. No, it's not a milk crate, Jamie. It's not a milk crate. It's a some kind of card storage box. I got that idea from Journal Artista, Paula, and she got it from somebody else. You know how it is. You see one idea and you pass it around. Before you know it, it's gotten passed. It's like the gossip game. You pass it around so many times that you don't remember who said the original thing, the original idea. Okay, there's some diamonds, and there's some little whatever those things are called. I forgot. Here's some zigzags. I love zigzags. Let's do some zigzags. Now, could I do zigzags without a stencil? Yes, I could, but it's easy, so let's do it. Hey, Josie. It is an impromptu, drama-free Friday. Okay, these stencils, in case you wanted to know, that other one was a Crafter's Workshop stencil, that first one that I used here, and it's called Bubble Curtain. Bubble Curtain. You know what? I don't know that is a Crafter's Workshop. I think that might be... Who is that? Artist Seller, maybe. It's one or the other. It's either from Artist Seller, which is CELLAR, or it's Crafter's Workshop stencil, and I don't know which. This one is one of those cardstock stencils, and it's from Faber-Castell. Steal and share. There you go. Borrow and share. Borrow and share. Okay, so let's put a zigzag. I'm not gonna worry about how perfectly it lines up. Okay, she says as she lines it up. So let's just... Now, the cardstock ones, these cardstock stencils, are not nearly as stable as the plastic ones. See if I can kind of get these sort of lined up about somewhat the same. So you kind of have to keep your finger, supporting the stencil a little bit. So we'll do the big petals with adding something to them like this, and then we'll move on. And I'll go over them with using that black pen here in a second. So I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're being creative, staying creative. It's so good to feel good again. Man, that was a nasty bug I had there for beginning to end. It was about a month. Like, ugh. You get to a point where you think, I'm never going to feel good again. That's just usually right before you get feeling great. And then right after I had that, whatever that respiratory thing was, I broke out with some awful rash. That was an adventure. That was an adventure. Yeah, that was an adventure. Hello, Linda. Okay. Cheers, everybody. This is, can you see my cup? Cheers. Tea. What time of day is it? Okay. So this is the plastic nib pen. I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit better about what I'm doing. So I'm just going to go over these. So you can see how you can take the prompt from the card and make it your own. Some of my circles are going to have flat spots because fortunately they're kind of ovalish. I don't draw perfectly good circles. Some people can, but I don't have to happen to be one of them. And sometimes the paper or the, something that's dried from the dye will grab the nib and send it off in its own direction. See, that's got a terrible flat spot in it. Oh well. This is just for fun. I don't have any idea about what I'm going to do with this mandala. Maybe I'll give it away. Who knows? You never know. I just needed to do a mandala because I needed to remind myself to breathe. Some days you have difficult conversations with people that, make you go, I gotta breathe. I gotta make myself breathe because that was a lulu of a conversation. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you just run into people whose you don't even know what it is about them that make you go, give you the willies just a little bit, if you know what I mean. And sometimes you just need to do something to de-willyize yourself. I'm not saying that either one of those things happened to me today. I'm not admitting that, even though they did. So we're breathing. We're breathing today because we all need to breathe. Need to get yourself a copy of Breathe magazine and read it cover to cover and remind yourself, put it someplace where you can remind yourself. By golly, you need to breathe. Hi, Silver Penny Artisans from Canada. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. All right, so we'll come back out. So that looks kind of cool. I never would have thought of doing that. So thankfully, the playful card said to create a mandala using stencils. So I took that and did my own thing with it. All right, we'll move that out of the way so we don't pull that card again. All right, so you don't know D. Willie? I don't know why you don't. D. Willie, Free Willie, whatever. Okay, this is the Enjoy card. I didn't read you the quote from that one, did I? It is requisite for the relaxation of the mind that we make use from time to time of playful deeds and jokes. That's from Thomas Aquinas. Yeah, that's a good one. Okay, the Enjoy card says, the safest course is to do nothing against one's conscience. With this secret, we can enjoy life and have no fear from death. That's from Voltaire. You got to think about that one a little bit. All right, this one is draw 3 small mandalas, cut them out, and put them on an art journal page. Well, we're not going to do that, so we're going to toss that one. You're in charge of whether you do a card or not. You are in charge. These are my cards, Silver Penny. These are Mandala Madness inspiration cards. See? That's me. And there is a link to them in the description box below the video. Or you can go to HowToGetCreative.com and click on the gift shop, and you'll see them right there in the gift shop. Now, I will tell you, international shipping is a bird dog. But we've shipped a lot of them overseas, but you have to know, and not even just overseas, just out of the country. It is what it is. Just is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. I tried very hard to get the price down, and the post office and so forth and shippers are they're not cooperative whatsoever at my pleading with them to please reduce my shipping costs. So, yeah. Okay. That is a medical rule. Jan is a nurse, so she knows. That is a medical rule. Air goes in and out and blood goes round and round. There you go. All right, let's pull another one, see what we get. Okay, presents. I love this mandala. This is the cover. This is the cover of the box, by the way. And so, yeah, this is the cover. I love this particular mandala. All right, let's see what it says. The soul is an infinite ocean of just beautiful energy and presence made manifest in human form. And this is the person who said that, or who it is attributed to. And I'm not really sure how to say the name. I would assume that person is male, but I don't even know that. So there you go. All right, so here is the instruction. Draw a teardrop and repeat it around your mandala. We can do that. We can do that. I know the postal prices are pretty significant. And yes. Okay, so we're going to draw a teardrop. All right, now, if you want to, that's a little close. If you want to be on the safe side, you can use a pencil first, and you can draw in pencil. I quite frequently will draw the whole thing in pencil and then go back and ink it all and then add all the color and all that. We're just kind of, doing whatever we feel like doing. So I'm just going to live dangerously, and I'm going to go with ink to start with. Just going to go with ink and start with. Now, when you draw a teardrop, it may be easier for you to draw it one way than the other. And sometimes I pull the teardrops toward myself, and sometimes I push them away. It just, it's kind of whatever I feel like doing. So I'm just going to pick a spot, and I'm going to draw a teardrop. Okay? Okay. So let's just go in here. Let's draw a teardrop. And here's my philosophy about drawing a mandala. I choose one time and I repeat it around the mandala no matter what. Even if it was a bad decision or a decision I go, I'm not going to like this. That's how I do it. I choose once and then I repeat it. So if I make one bad choice, I'm going to make a whole bunch of bad choices. And I'll tell you something. By the time you get finished, it looks fine. It looks fine. Have any of you guys that are members at HowToGetCreative.com watched the latest art journaling series video I put up? Someday you'll draw a mandala. Good, Linda. Good. That is your challenge. Let's see. Let's do some more, because one teardrop is never enough. So let's come out here and let's do. We have an ongoing art journaling series at HowToGetCreative.com in the member area, because we are a membership website over there. Everything here on YouTube is for free. But the membership, which is where I invest most of my energy, is a paid membership. Anyway, we have an ongoing art journaling series hanging out over there. Sorry about the voice. God. So anyway, it's a fun thing. It's about art journaling, growing growing a mandala. It's a whole mandala thing. Growing it from seed. You want to see it? I'll go get them and show them to you. You want to see them? Because I can show them to you if you want to see them. While I'm waiting for you to say yes or no, we'll draw another card. So we now have some teardrops. Yep. Got some teardrops. All right, let's see if we can go for another one. Yes? Okay. All right, I'll show you here in a second. Let's draw a card first. Okay, this is the Appreciate card. Yes, yes, yes. Okay, we'll do it. Similar color palette, huh? Similar color palette. Nature's beauty is a gift that cultivates appreciation and gratitude. Boy, that is important. Appreciation and gratitude. You can get a long way in your life if you use appreciation and gratitude. And Barb's philosophy, you can deal with a whole lot of stress if you can get yourself in a mindset of appreciation and gratitude. Okay, draw a branch and berries within a shape in your mandala. Repeat around your entire mandala. All right, we're going to have to find a space to do that. I'll do that right after I show you these other mandalas. Be right back. So these are the ones that are that I used in the art journaling series, the most recent issue, broadcast, whatever, class. I do those late at night, so I'm never totally responsible for what I say. Anyway, here's this one, and on the page behind it, here's another one. This one's done totally in white on black. So those are done totally freehand. There's no markings. They start with a point in the center. Both of these did. And then they're grown from the center out. The interesting thing about this one was the way it spun. That was not my intention for it to spin like that, but that's just how it turned out. So that's the way it is. Yeah. This one, on the other hand, did not do that. This one did not spin. This one stayed very symmetrical. So it's interesting how that happened. Anyway, those are both recordings at HowToGetCreative.com. Okay, so branch and berries. So again, we're just going to go straight in with the old black pen, Living Dangerously. And let's just pick a spot. So let's go. Okay, so we're going to go here. And I'm going to go, all right, first things first, I'm going to give myself the branch. And if these are not perfectly equally spaced around my circle, I'm not sweating that. And those two mandalas that I just showed you, those were drawn on top of some very raw journaling. See, those aren't exactly across from each other and stuff. Yeah, they do tend to look really intricate. They look more intricate than they actually are. And that's the great part about them, about mandalas, in my opinion. All right, so that's that. So now let's put some additional branches. Whoops. Okay, so this one had a mind of its own. And so when that happens, you just go back and you just add a little bit to the other ones and then try to do it the way you intended to the next time. It's a little bit like Zentangling in that I don't allow myself to think about mistakes. Okay, so there's our branches. It is. Perfection is highly overrated. So now we're going to put some berries. I try to, when I am doing something with these, I try to decide, as I said, decide once and finish it all the way around the mandala. Otherwise, I can get myself all engrossed in one little section, and because I get engrossed in one little section, I start working all this, and then I go to the next part of it and go, what was it I did over there? And I get myself very confused. So, yeah. Okay. So we're doing some branches and some berries. Reminding myself to breathe. Now that becomes challenging when I'm trying to stream and watch computer screens and watch the chat and have a running dialogue. Sometimes that becomes challenging, and you can tell that there is no perfection here because some of these berries are not even close to the same position of the others. Sorry, I was just checking the chat for a second. Yeah, the the idea of Zentangle prompt cards is a good one too, isn't it? They do a thing at Christmas time, the 12 days of Zentangle, which I think is great. This last year they did a Zentangle spinner, which was phenomenal. I watched every single video. I didn't do them, but I watched every single video. The designs are amazing. Okay, so we have branch and berries. Branch and berries. All right, the next one. Let's go for another one. We'll do a couple of more of these cards, and then we'll, I don't know, we'll do as many as we feel like it. We'll do as many as we feel like it. Okay, so let's pick another one. I'm just randomly pulling one. This is the balance card. Balance is not something you find, it's something you create. How true is that? Okay, draw a circle of any size within your mandala, fill it with color, and repeat it around your mandala. Oh, finally we get to have some color in this. Good. All right, so draw a circle and repeat it around the mandala. All right, so so what we're going to do is we're going to come out here, and I may or may not have the right amount of circles out here. Kathy, if you look it up on the Zentangle, Zentangle.com, I'm sure you'll find it. Also, you can find it here on YouTube with their videos here on YouTube. Basically, it amounts to a game spinner that they drew different designs within the compartments. And then you could use that kind of like prompts. You could spin the spinner, and use the design that the spinner landed on. That's the kind of the short version. Okay, so there's where we're starting. So now I'm going to live dangerously and just I have two lines out here. So I'm endeavoring to draw the circles between the two lines. Okay, let's see how many we got. 1, Okay, in between those two, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Well, it's anybody's guess whether we'll get 13 on the next one. Were you guys counting? Were you counting? All right. That one we didn't get 13. And that one I didn't get 13 either. I don't know what happened to me. Who knows? All right, let's keep going. I love circles on the mandalas, or Zentangle for that matter, or mixed media work in general. There is something about the circle and the shape, the representation that, we all have our things that we like, that we use over and over, things that are representational for have meaning in your life. Okay. Ta-da! All right, so we now have circles. Just like that. Yeah, it really helps if you, with the Zentangle idea, I'll show you what I do for Zentangle. I am not a certified Zentangle person. I don't teach it. Because that's not my thing. But I do enjoy doing it. So what I have in here is I have different examples of designs. This is just a book that I made. I used a composition notebook, and then I cut off the binding, so I could use the front and back covers, and I used the pages somewhere else, and then I bound it with a cinch or one of those self-binding things. And so then I drew different designs and I labeled them, and this is just for fun and practice. And you can see them in here. Here's one I screwed up, so I scratched through it. This is just my one of my journals for playing with the idea. Okay? And then that way I have this particular thing has different designs than my other journals have in them. And so here, for example, I write on here, not very good example, not a very good sample, because sometimes they're not very good. So if they're not very good, it's just, I invented a different design. So, but if you do this and you step it out, like they show you in many of the different design Tangle, like there's a Tangle app and different things and the different books. If you'll step it out, then you can remember how to do it. So that's how I do that. And then, like there was one, I have one that's very similar to this. Looks like my kitchen counters because they're old, from the 70s. And so I have that. I have this one, which is similar. Why aren't they all in one book? I don't really know. They're just not. This one I was a little more careful about stepping them out, drawing them in boxes and that kind of thing. So I have that. But this is all for doing exactly what you were talking about, which is to have a library of things to choose from. Because otherwise I have to get out all the different books that I've collected. I have to get those all out. And I have to go through them and work at, finding designs and so forth. So here's another one. This is a Leuchtturm journal, and same kind of thing. So I've drawn the designs out, and here's, this is an oops, just like that. And so that's how I do it with, so this is my version of prompt cards. So it has the name of the tangle. I'm not telling you that these are all 100% accurate and perfect by any means, but it's my version of a library of designs for myself. But if I don't step these out, I can't remember how to do that. So I have to step that out. And it's stepped out somewhere back here in the back. So that is what I do so that I have a record of designs to pull from. So, bye, Dawn. Good to see you. And if you guys don't know this trick about the elastic, the way this elastic is meant to be used is like this. If you do it this way, where you go kind of cattywampus across the journal, then you can just put your pen in there, or you can put your pen or pencil along the side. Now that eventually is going to wear out your elastic, but that way you've got a place to put your pen or pencil, where if you put it just on the side like this, the way it's intended to be, then your pen might not be quite as cool in its storage position. So anyway. All right. So that's just a couple ideas for you. And the only reason I could do that is because it happened to be at my fingertips. All right, let's do a couple more. I know this one said to use color, which we haven't done yet, but okay. So let's put another card here. This one is the Calm card. Calm is a superpower, people. Did you know that? Calm is a superpower. It says so because Anon said. All right, this is draw a stem, add 2 small leaves on one end and a circle on the other, and repeat the pattern around the mandala and embellish as you wish with gel pens. All right, so draw 2 small leaves on one end of a stem and add a little flower on the other one. All right, let's see if we can find a spot for that. How about, let's grow a flower right out of here. Okay, so we're going to do that all the way around first. Decide once and go. Do it all the way around your mandala, your mandala, your mandala, whatever you want to call it, your design. So I have a few more minutes today to do this stream. And then maybe I'll come back at some other point and we'll do some more on this. Would you like that? If we do some more on this one, I'll make myself not touch it. How about that? And then we'll do some more on another Just for Fun stream. If you'd like that, we can do that. But every afternoon, my husband and I go have a coffee date, and I can't be late for my coffee date. I can't be late for the coffee date. Doodling requires no recipes. That is true. Okay, so there's the stem and our leaves. So now we're going to make little flowers because that's what the prompt told us to do. We'll do one more card after this if it's not too complicated. Boy, the mouth is not working very well today. Bye, Eva. Thanks for spending some time here. Sometimes I do use gel pens to do all of this, but in this case I'm using a micron pen. I have been known to just use plain old ballpoint pens, or not ballpoints, but like these Sarasa pens, or my favorite pen actually is, I don't know if I have one here, the Pilot G2. That's my very favorite ink pen. So if I'm not where I can get a hold of my regular supplies and I need to draw a mandala in my journal or something, I'll just do that just with my regular old pens. Yeah, coffee dates with husbands are important, aren't they? Or your friends, or whomever. Okay, let's do one more card. Hi, Artsy Smartsy. Long-time viewer, first-time chatter. Welcome. I'm going to call you Bitten. I don't know. That doesn't sound like that would be the right name, but anyway. Says that Bitten says that they use a dip pen for mandalas because she likes the feeling on paper. And I don't know if can't tell by your name if you're male or female, so if I offended you by saying she and you're not she, my apologies. Sometimes it gets very complicated being a streamer. Okay, so the card is yes. When you say yes to the isness of life, when you accept this moment as it is, you can feel a sense of spaciousness within that is a deeply, deeply peaceful. Eckhart Tolle. Absolutely. I agree with that, Eckhart. Female, okay, Bitten. I hope Bitten is correct. Thank you for sharing about your dip pen. All right, the thing is to add lines and dots to your mandala with colored gel pens. All right, I just happen to have my colored gel pens over here. So we will do that with this color, and that might kind of guide us as we go. So I have a basket of gel pens. Most of these are Jelly Roll pens, but not all of them. And so we'll use this one, which is the Jelly Roll Classic set. Okay. So this is the Jelly Roll Classic set. And so let's just get this one. So this is just green. It's always good to have a piece of paper, I find, and just start your pen. Make sure your pen's moving and working for you. And then let's just do some lines and dots with this gel pen. All right, where are we going to do this? Oh, good. I'm so glad. Artsy Smartsy, do you want to tell us, give us a first name so I don't call you just Artsy Smartsy? That would be great if you want to. All right, so let's do just thinking. This is the hardest part, is the thinking part. I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to start in here, and I'm just going to do some spirals, another one of my favorite shapes. And then we'll come up here and we'll do this. And then we'll do this. Now let's see if I can remember that around the mandala. I like starting with a wash or something, not just white, white paper. Beach Granny. Oh, cool. Beach Granny is great. And then let's grab another color. So maybe we'll do this, which is a blue. So these are Jelly Roll pens from the same set. And this set is the classic set that I'm using here. So this is a classic set. They also come in the Moonlight sets. Okay, so these are the Moonlight sets. The Moonlight sets are great for dark surfaces, light or dark surfaces. These will not show, the classic set does not show over a dark surface. Okay, so we're going to use this blue. And we'll do the same thing. So I've got green and part of those, and we'll put blue in the others. Just because I felt like it. I find that the regular Jelly Roll pens last a very long time. I do find that the glaze pens, for me, because I don't use them as often, the glaze pens and the souffle pens, I have more trouble with them wanting to clog up on me. And so I tend to use the regular Jelly Roll pens. Okay, let's do a little bit more here with this. I'm going to use the pink one. These are all from the same classic set. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do, let's see, we're going to emphasize this shape here. So starting to add some color to this particular mandala. Like so. So we've added some lines. We haven't added any dots yet. So let's do some dots. Let's get another color because we can, because there's plenty of colors in the world. Oh, thanks, Kathy. Okay, so lines and dots, that was the suggestion. Okay, so So first the line, and then the dots. Okay, so we've got the lines in there, so now the dots. And this is a great thing to do if you're not good at drawing lines. If you draw crooked lines, then this is what I call beading, B-E-A-D-I-N-G, beading the line. It's like, think of it like ball chain. So I'll zoom in so you can see a little bit more what I'm talking about. So it's just like ball chain. It's just dots right on top of the line. Now, are they exactly the same spacing apart from each other? No. Are they the same size? No. But when the whole thing is finished, you're never going to notice that anyway. And if you do notice it, there's something, you know, you need to find a new place to hang out, because this isn't a good one for you. This is not the place for you. Yes. Was it Dina Wakley and a few other people say done is better than perfect? I agree with that philosophy. I agree with that philosophy. Whoops, skipped one. It's not unusual for me to skip something and it's all finished, the mandala is all done, and I go, what happened there? It's like, oh. Now, it does take a minute or two for the gel ink to dry, so you kind of got to be aware of where your hand is so you don't put your hand back in the middle of that. Now see, this is where I can get absorbed in the process, because then I start seeing the way that it's coming together, and I go, oh yeah, now I want to do this, now I want to do that. So, series of lines and dots. So there's the beginning of it. Maybe we'll do a little bit more here in the center, just because we can. See if I can keep my hand out of what's going on here. And then we're going to, see, I have a terrible time stopping. So in this case, we're going to do a squiggle line. And then maybe a dot out here at the edge of that. And then just because we can, give it a nice center point. And then often what I do after, that's not dry yet, so let me hit this with a little bit of heat. Then I'm going to come back in here. Nope, coffee date's looming, I'm telling you. Got to get crack-a-lack in here. And then maybe we'll do a part of a flower here. But you see how it starts developing? You just start deciding, okay, this is what I want to do here, and then this is what I want to do there, and then you just keep round and round you go, breathing as you go, relaxing into the process, not worrying about anything. Sometimes I go around the circle twice. And so there's the center of it. And one of my very favorite things to do is on these zigzaggy lines, come in here and I dot. Each side of the little zigzags. Like that. And then you just go and go and go and go and go. And that's that. All right, so there is the beginning of our mandala, using the Mandala Madness cards as prompt cards, as inspiration for us, as well as for inspiration for the mandala. So that's that. All right, so I think that's where we're going to stop for today. So from a distance, that's how it looks from a distance so far. So we'll see what happens next. We got to add some color to it. Yeah, I got to get some color on this puppy, don't we? Thanks, everybody. Thanks for joining me today and for this impromptu just for fun stream. And I will see you again. I don't know when. I'll just kind of pop on and we'll do something else. Maybe we'll do some more on this mandala. See where it goes from here, because I didn't know it was going to go to this point, so who knows. Anyway, if you're interested in the Mandala Madness cards, because you don't have to have draw mandalas to have the cards. If you'd like to have your own deck, then just click on that link below in the video, in the description below the video, or go over to HowToGetCreative.com and click on Gift Shop, and you'll see all the things that we have there. All right, I will see you guys soon. Remember to get creative today, because you know it's easy, and I'll see you again next time. Bye, everybody. Have a good one.